It is often said that freedom isn't free. Freedom can be undermined, threatened, and endangered. Freedom needs to be protected. That's why we have a U.S. military. The U.S. military's job is to protect the lives, the safety, and the freedom of the American people. Freedom, however, is a very broad term. Taken by itself, it simply means the ability to do something. So, what specifically is the type of freedom that America represents, that the American people cherish, and the American military is called to protect? Firstly, America offers more opportunity and social mobility than any other country. America is one of the only countries that has an entire class, not just of self-made millionaire tycoons, but of self-made everyday millionaires. According to the largest study of everyday millionaires, almost 9 in 10 did not inherit their wealth. That means about 90% of millionaires in the US became millionaires through hard work, intelligence, and saving. Compared to the rest of the world, many inherit their wealth. For example, it's common in Europe and Asia to have uber-rich families that stay rich, but it's very hard to become one if you don't start out that way. Americans are self-starters, and we're one of the only countries that has an entire entrepreneur class. Many inventions that benefit the entire world come from America, and small businesses are the backbone of America's economy. Whether you're a taxi driver or own your own restaurant, you're always hustling to make a buck, and then some. Just because your family wasn't successful doesn't mean you can't be. Secondly, America is one of the only countries where work and trade are respectable. In other countries, physical labor is often looked down upon, whereas in America, we look upon many who are ranchers, construction workers, factory workers, farmers, and others who work physically with a sense of respect. It's almost part of being an American to work with your hands, and some who are in the removed, coastal elite upper class of America even try to make it look like they work with their hands when they don't. They'll buy dirty jeans and construction boots and do that whole try to look cool thing. I have a friend who had a very cool looking wooden table, and I asked him where he got it. He said, "I sawed it myself." I knew that wasn't true, but it goes to show you that he wanted others to think that. And in America, being from a log cabin and doing manual work comes with a sense of dignity. This is unique to America. In other countries, a manual laborer is often treated with little respect, and the upper class certainly doesn't try to act like them or resemble their clothing and appearance. This American uniqueness is likely rooted in the American ideal of the self-made man, which was present all the way from the founding and even before with the settlers. This is most epitomized in the man of the log cabin, as Lincoln was, who, though born in a log cabin, then grew up to be a lawyer and later president. Thirdly, America is a country where we've gone further than others in establishing an equality of rights. Our founders saw these rights as stemming from our Creator, for how else can we be equal if not in God's eyes? We often take for granted our basic freedoms, so we complain about trivial matters, but that's because our basic freedoms are so well intact. In other countries, women have very little freedom. It's normal if you're a woman in Iran or Saudi Arabia to feel as though you're owned by your husband or your father. In many areas of Africa, gays are persecuted, and so when we act like there's intolerance here, we forget the alternative. In China, Christians are persecuted severely, as well as the Falun Gong. We take things like religious freedom for granted in America, and oftentimes don't fight as hard as we should for it, because we are so used to having it. But when we see it taken away from others, when we see that others do not have the freedom we have here, it's a wake-up call. Or at least it should be. And our fundamental freedoms must be preserved. As Ronald Reagan said, freedom is a fragile thing, and it's never more than one generation away from extinction. It's not ours by way of inheritance. It must be fought for and defended constantly by each generation, for it comes only once to a people. And those in world history who have known freedom and then lost it have never known it again. This is why we cannot lose it here in America. America is the world's last best hope.